Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
If you can survive!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my good brother from Pro Wrestling Unlimited. It's Tim. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. Glad to be on here with you. Love our conversations we usually have together. Always a great time.
Yeah, man. It's so good to have you back on. I know we chatted a few weeks ago, and you and I were texting off and on the last couple of days. And listen, usually with our podcast, we talk, the latest stuff from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW. But this week alone, they say what's the old saying? When it rains, it pours. As far as news stories go in the world of pro wrestling, so much has happened. Normally, one or two big stories happen a week if we're lucky, and those are fun things to talk about outside of just the show reviews. But literally this week alone felt like every day one or two major things happened, and everyone was talking about it. And so I think for all the Kliqsters, you guys know I go to Tim. He's my go-to source for all news outside of pro wrestling, just because he does an amazing job with your YouTube channel, your website, all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm super excited. I figured, I got to get you on and let's just talk about all this stuff, and so much to get into. And as always, remember, subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform. Also follow In The Kliq on social media, inthekliq@gmail.com. Get the merch. Just click the link in our bio. And Tim, just remind the Kliqsters, where can everyone find you as well?
Basically, you can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, so we had an issue with YouTube this week where I think it was Tuesday. YouTube went down while we were doing our NXT review.
Oh, no.
So remember, if you ever try to watch one of our things, like a live show on YouTube, but also always live at the same time, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. So YouTube was going in and out. So the live feed kept cutting on. And so I'm like, if you hear me, go to Twitch. But you can find us. Most of our stuff is always youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. We also simulcast our live streams on Twitch, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. And then we also post as much news as possible on our website, pwunlimited.co.
Love it. Like I said, Kliqsters out there, please check out his website, bookmark it, check it out daily, subscribe to the YouTube channel and all the other outlets that he has. Like I said, amazing work. Literally, you're on top of things, breaking news, which we'll get into some stuff that you broke this week. And yeah, man, looking forward to the conversation. But yeah, so much to get into. The big thing this week for me was the releases over on WWE, specifically under the NXT umbrella. April 15th last month, there was a lot of WWE related releases from Raw and SmackDown. A lot of people were anticipating, okay, is NXT going to have some releases? And after a week or so, nothing happened. It got kind of quiet. And I think a lot of people thought, oh, all right, just business as normal. But then this week, a bunch of releases happened. And do you have the full list of all the names that were released by chance, or I have them? I can go down the list I have here. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I can go down the list I have here. We can just riff on it. But, yeah, man, no, one of the first names to come out was Jessamine Duke, who, as we all know, was, one half of the, Four Horsewomen, as far as Ronda Rousey's group. That was, she was released this week. And to me, that was a little bit of a shocker, just because she's been there for so long, or last few years training, a little bit stop and go as far as, her on TV, but I kind of thought she's
had
stick
shoulder
around.
injuries.
Shoulder injuries, but I thought she was going to stick around just because she's one of Ronda Rousey's friends. But do you know any reason why maybe she was let go? Is it just because?
Honestly, I don't know. Her and Marina were signed in 2018. They've been training at the PC and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they let her go. She's got an increased presence on Up, Up, Down, Down.
Yeah.
Apparently, she says she will still work with Up, Up, Down, Down.
Okay.
Even though she's not signed by WWE and like under WWE anymore, but they're going to allow her to still create the content because they have like Xavier Woods has his stuff on Up, Up, Down, Down. Then they have what I guess they call BRE Stop or Start, which is her, Dakota Kai, Mia Yim, and Shayna. They do their own content on Up, Up, Down, Down as well. Because in the pandemic, they were just like, we need more stuff for this channel. You guys, we're not going to let you stream anymore. So create stuff on Up, Up, Down, Down. Like, okay, we were already doing stuff with Woods anyways. So apparently she's going to still do stuff over there. But as far as her being released, I was like, well, that's random. But apparently she was injured like she's still dealing with one of her injuries apparently.
Okay. Because for me, it was like, okay, I wonder if this is a situation like, does she still want to wrestle, or maybe has her interest changed in more of the digital content? Maybe she's trying to look at, life outside of wrestling long term. And, if she's doing stuff for Up, Up, Down, Down, maybe she's thinking, I enjoy more of this now. And so maybe that's why she's able to stay doing that. And that's still kind of ultimately under WWE's umbrella. So it looks like she's still in their good graces. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
I don't know what her plan would be going forward. Is like if she still wants to wrestle, because I had heard 2019, 2020 that like between like her, Shayna, and Marina, she was the one. Like Shayna was the best out of the three, but as far as like getting better and progressing, she was progressing at a faster rate than they would have expected.
Okay, well,
but then again, she kept getting hurt.
Yeah,
I know she had like double shoulder surgery at one point. Like had surgery on one shoulder and then had to have it on the other shoulder right after. I think the same thing happened to Ruby Riott recently too.
Oh my God. Well,
last year.
Hopefully, a speedy recovery for her. And, you definitely don't want to see someone career get cut short by injuries and stuff. I hope she does, keep pursuing wrestling and, but at least you can, still see her on Up, Up, Down, Down. So if you're a fan of her, you can check it out there. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And who knows, a lot of these times with releases, people can't come back down the road, which we'll get into a little bit later about someone who is coming back. Shocking. Also released was Vanessa Bourne. I will admit I was super heartbroken just because I have a big crush on Vanessa Bourne. but no, it was also, she was released as well, and I enjoyed her time in NXT. I thought she had just a great look and kind of gimmick going, and she was reportedly called up early 2020.
So she had her last match in NXT in late January 2020, and then the rumor was they wanted her on the main roster and they never used her. And so people have been saying, is she going to stay with wrestling? She has a background in sports broadcasting.
Yeah.
From what she was doing before WWE. Well, I would say she wants to stay in wrestling because yesterday she was in San Antonio doing a class with Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard and her husband Daga do classes on Saturdays at the Hybrid School of Wrestling in San Antonio, which I think Funaki owns or runs or something.
Oh, wow.
And so they teach classes on Saturday, and Vanessa Bourne was there. They posted a picture on Instagram. Tessa did with the little class they had. Sasha was there this past week as well with Kalisto or Samurai, whatever he called himself, Samurai Del Sol. Yeah. So she's a guest still wanting to be in wrestling if she's now training over there or doing whatever it is. So
interesting. So, I mean, hopefully maybe another promotion picks her up, but with her sports media background, like I wonder if she could have been like maybe a backstage interviewer or something for WWE or something like that, or maybe some sort of other role for her. But it's just really amazing that they called her up, her and was it Santana Garrett and even Chelsea Green. It was just kind of like this limbo. Yeah. Where you just show up and you just stand there waiting for something. So it's just amazing. Why make the move if you don't have anything lined up for them? I to me, that's always mind-boggling. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with her. Like I said, big fan, and hopefully, I know me and a couple of other buddies were all like, "Oh, we're so bummed." We haven't seen her in so long on TV, so now that she's officially gone, it's like, damn it. Also, Skylar Story, who was released. So a lot of people probably not a recognizable name, but it was Lauren.
Brandy Lauren.
Yeah, Brandy Lauren. She actually just got signed in, October?
Yeah,
I mean,
she worked one match, and it was a number one contenders battle royal that Candice LeRae ended up winning. And that was the only thing she did on TV.
So why in this situation, someone who just got signed get released, barely 7 months later? I
mean, I don't have any insight, but the only thing I can think of is maybe they knew she wasn't happy there or something. Maybe she got signed because she was one of those ones that when they acquired Evolve, I think her contract with Evolve maybe slid into WWE or something. So maybe that was the thing. But the only thing I can think is maybe they knew she wasn't happy and then said, if you want out, we'll let you go. I don't know. No one's really saying anything about.
Yeah, I mean, and wasn't she most recently dating Joey Janela, if I remember correctly?
They still are.
So, I don't know. I wonder if that's, something there, or maybe, hopefully maybe she can get picked up by AEW in some capacity, if that's the case. Maybe he can put the word in. But I know, like, Shotzi Blackheart's really close with her, and Shotzi, over the last couple of days, has been tweeting stuff. Like, she tweeted out, like, a link to, like, some chocolates, I guess, that Brandy loves, and said, hey, buy this and send it to her P.O. box. It'll make her feel better. So if you're a fan of Skylar Story and want to send her something, you can check that out on Shotzi's Twitter timeline. So, but that's the thing too. Like, I heard she was making good progress as far as like some of like the required exercises that apparently do.
They said as far as like progressing in what was it? What's the
squats or
squats? That's what it was.
Yeah.
As far as like being able to lift more, she was number 2 on the list. Next to number 1 was the Rock's daughter, as far as like her weight going up, as far as for her squats and stuff. So he was progressing in some form or fashion.
Yeah, so that makes me wonder, like, some of these, people let go.
I would think it's got to be a happiness thing, and they probably just like, if you don't want to be here, we'll just let you go.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, so just back up a little bit. So apparently, the rumor is it was all budget cuts, right? That's what they're saying on paper. Was
budget cuts. Yeah. Here's the thing. Budget cuts, releases while they're doing 3-day tryouts at the PC at the exact same time, literally the same day. We'll get emails saying you've been cut, yet they're doing tryouts at the PC.
Yeah, I know. It's really interesting, just, the timing of all this. Another one was Ezra Judge, who I actually was listening the other day, Dave Meltzer really praising him as far as he was a former bodybuilder. He's been signed for a couple years, but he's never actually made an in-ring debut. But
house shows, but nothing on TV.
Okay, so Meltzer was raving, he has a great look. Was he 6'8"? Former bodybuilder, has that
he's
big
basically
look.
What you think Vince McMahon would gush over.
Exactly. So I just don't know. Was he not picking up? It makes you wonder with guys like this who wrestle just house shows, been with them for a couple years, but never makes it on TV. Is it just a matter of they're just not progressing enough that they feel confident to put on national TV?
That's the only thing I would think. Yeah, maybe he wasn't progressing as fast as they felt he should have been in the ring. But again, another one I haven't heard anything other than people were shocked that he was let go.
Yeah. This is probably the biggest shocker for me, outside of just from what I assume just no drama. Just someone that I was becoming a big fan of was Alexander Wolf, 1/4 of Imperium release. I
had a storyline going where they kicked him out of Imperium Tuesday, and then Wednesday they kick him out of the company.
Yeah, it makes you wonder now that beatdown he took on Tuesday, was that like on purpose for a send-off?
I don't think so. I wouldn't think, but because literally the story that it looked like they were building was they kicked him out of Imperium.
Yeah.
He's going to go team up with his old buddy Killian Dane against Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner. That seemed like the exact progression they were going with, and then they released him for some reason. I know he did one interview so far. I didn't listen to it yet, but that one was the biggest shock to me because he was literally on TV maybe 12 hours before the news came out.
And the other thing too is, sorry to break kayfabe, but with everyone, but he's like good friends with Walter, and like they sell the ring comp gear, overseas, and I've seen ads like him modeling some of the track suits and shirts and stuff, and I was like, it looks like him and Walter are a business side of things are connected. So I wonder, with his release, will that affect the guy's Imperium's relationship? I mean, I hope not, but it's just I'm really baffled of this release just because of
that was the one that shocked me the most.
Yeah, so there might be more to it.
They literally had an NXT storyline for him going.
Exactly. Yeah, him and Killian Dane, like a Sanity reunion. But I think a lot of people, I think so. If I remember correctly, NXT releases, it's just a 30-day non-compete.
Correct. And because they're developmental, WWE doesn't have to make them public like they do with main roster.
Gotcha.
So that's why it all came out through news and rumors and not WWE posting on their website.
Gotcha. So I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, I should go to Impact right away and then reteam with Eric Young and Madman Fulton and have like the OG Sanity reunion of sorts. But I mean,
Eric Young got his own group growing over there.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like he's got the Violence by Design thing going. So
they just won the tag titles.
Exactly. Yeah. Joe Doring and Rhino just won. So good for them. So yeah, who knows? Or maybe Wolf can show up there and attack him or something. But and then Kavita Devi, am I pronouncing? Kavita Devi, that's right. She was the first Indian sign wrestler, female wrestler sign,
Indian born female.
And I know WWE's trying to get really involved in India and try to branch off and get into that country. And so she looked like early on she's gonna be like a face of that, but
she did a lot of press for that.
Yeah.
When they did tryouts over there, she was on the press tours. And when they were building up that whole Superstar Spectacle show, she wasn't on the show, but she did like press for it.
And then she hasn't been. Didn't she have to go back home for some personal reasons? I think recently,
had been dealing with an injury.
Okay.
And then apparently she had personal reasons where she couldn't do the India show. The show was specifically done for India. But they mentioned her on the show. So I don't know if maybe those personal things kept her home and then she couldn't. I don't know.
Yeah. So
a lot of these NXT mysteries because we haven't heard anything.
Yeah, exactly. So we wish her the best. And then surprisingly, they actually released a couple referees. So the first non-dramatic one was Ref Jake Clemens, who also was recently signed back in October. So it's amazing to me. Like a young ref just get released 7 months onto the job. And I mean,
because he was signed at the same time Brandy Lauren was.
Exactly. I mean, for anyone wondering, he was the guy, Seth Rollins, when he was doing the Monday Night Messiah, he had the Seth Rollins shirt under him on that episode of Raw. But yeah, to me, it's shocking because, as far as like budget cuts go, I'm sure he's not making as much money because he's like a rookie ref for them compared to some of the older refs and the veteran refs with the company. So I wonder if it's a performance thing because, the refs do get judged on their performance in the ring as well and how they, perform in the ring. So I wonder if that's maybe part of it or it's just really surprising to me, like a young ref get let go, not even a full year with the company. So, it's just really baffling me as well. So I know I think on social media, he's going to be working an indie show pretty soon. So I hope he bounces back quick. All right. These last two releases are the big, like dramatic ones that got everyone talking. First up was referee Drake Wuertz. Wuertz. Which, I don't want to go too much into like, what he's known for just because people can research that up. But, I know he's had a lot of issues surrounding him because of what he believes in politically and conspiracy theories. And listen, there's a lot of info out there if you want to research and want to look up who he is. I know, long story short, because of, what he does in his personal time, that carried over into the workplace, and a lot of performers were a little uncomfortable being around him. There were reports of they were having meetings behind the scenes, and he walked out of those meetings storming off. And there's a lot of, like I said, drama surrounding him. So, from your perspective, I would think this was it's a long time coming.
Many thought it would have happened like January.
Yeah. And so I think for them, they're just trying to cut their losses as far as they want no one dramatic behind the scenes in the locker room. And, if the wrestlers don't feel safe around this person, it doesn't make sense to have them around because the refs, ultimately their job is to keep people safe in the ring. And so if you can't trust this person, it just, you got to get rid of him. So
like when you're on some sort of like a what was it? He was on a Zoom call as far as with like city council, talk about why kids shouldn't have to wear masks. And when you're doing it 3 hours before an NXT taping, loud enough to where people in other rooms at the PC can hear you, and you're wearing your NXT referee shirt in this video, it's like, no, bro, no.
God. And now, like, since he's been released, he's been posting a lot more on social media, and like, check it out. It just, if you wanted some more context of where he's at right now mentally. And, there's some stuff there I don't agree with him. And, I just, I'll let him do his thing, and hopefully he finds happiness wherever he does. But it sounds like it's for the better that NXT separates themselves from him. And so, I know here in the Bay Area, he does have some connections here because he used to work for some indie promotions out here. So I've seen some people online comment about it, but nonetheless, good riddance. It sounds like he's just.
I know earlier this year he was replaced as like top of the line ref in NXT.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's good riddance to him. Like you said, he sounds like he's a real lunatic. It sounds like in some ways. So, and last but not least, probably the biggest shocker, and this came out the following day after all these initial releases. The Velveteen Dream gone from WWE, NXT specifically.
There are some reports on that I'm kind of iffy about. That we put out, like, really, like one of them was people in the company were fearful that he was being basically trained to help coach classes at the PC.
Yeah, I saw that.
Really? This guy doesn't even have, like, he has good matches, but he doesn't have great matches. And usually his better matches are only when he's working with guys like Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, guys of that caliber. All of his other matches are just subpar at best. It's like, I don't know what quote unquote classes people thought he was going to help coach, but it's like, I don't get it. I know he got very into the character and played the character well. I'll give him that. But his in-ring stuff, it wasn't like blow away or anything. And it's just like, there was that I was like, I don't know about that one. And then there was another thing I heard that I was kind of iffy on with him as well. The
behavioral issues that is that what you're talking about that most recently came out? Or?
Well, that one I've known about for a while. That he's got an ego about himself, that he thinks that he can do whatever he wants in the company, and they're not going to let him go because Triple H always praises him on the media calls.
Yeah.
Like, that was one thing that I was told a while back, that he thinks he's bulletproof because he thinks Triple H likes him that much.
Man. So it just Velveteen Dream, like over the last year, 15 months, so much has been reported back about him as far as, in the speaking out movement. Last year there were allegations of stuff, he was contacting like minors and stuff, and like I said, you can research all this online if you want to read more about it, but there was those alleged allegations, and then there were screenshots of conversations and video call or audio from that, and there was the car accident he was in as well last summer, and then the behavioral
I forgot about that.
The car accident, and so he was off TV for a bit. That's what they're saying. He was recovering from that. The behavioral issues as of late, a lot of people were afraid to speak up because apparently he had friends in high power there.
Well, because it's like every time someone asks on a media call, hey, there's this and this and this we hear about Velveteen Dream, what's going on with him? And Triple H goes, he's training at the Performance Center. He's progressing. He's doing well. We like the work he's putting in. He'll be back soon. And that's all Triple H used to always like go out of his way to not say anything bad about him. And I was just like, is he really that much, like, is Velveteen Dream that much of a company person that you trust him to do well or something? I don't know. It was always weird why he praised him so much.
I know. Well, maybe he's just trying to divert the attention to that. It's I mean, like, for me, it's sad because I think a lot of people had a lot of high expectations for him because he's only 25 now. So over the last 3 years, he had these amazing entrances at takeovers, and I know the in-ring stuff has been hit or miss depending on who he's working with. I know recently he had the back injury, right? That was kind of, at times taking him off TV. And then, but he had the one cinematic match with Adam Cole. He had the match with Kushida and then another match with Cole in December. So over the last year, we hardly saw him on TV. So it's a little, interesting just to see how little we've seen him on TV and like the reasoning behind that, and just people speculating, is there a connection to the allegations from last year? apparently, I know WWE, they did some research and didn't enough evidence to support those allegations. And sounds like more the release right now is based more on those quote behavioral issues as of late. But I kind of wonder if it's all, cumulative. It's just it's been a long time coming with all this stuff. He literally
only worked, and I know they didn't do house shows, and you can't be on everything, but he only worked in 2020 18 matches.
Wow.
And if you compare that to let's see, like a Johnny Gargano, for example.
I was going to say like 100.
Compare that to Gargano and how many matches he worked last year. 2020. 36.
Yeah.
In 2020.
Yeah, a lot more TV and the takeovers and stuff. So, I mean, Velveteen Dream, I think, like I said, he had a lot of high expectations from the fans. So it sucks that he's gone. But, based on the allegations and stuff, I mean, I think WWE's trying to separate themselves from him.
Hopefully. Hopefully he's not one of those where they go, we'll release him, but we'll keep our eyes on him and maybe bring him back in the future.
And that's my thing, too. Guy, he's only 25. God, imagine
what he'll be 26 I have it right here. He'll be 26 in August.
Imagine where he would have been if he would have stayed like 10 years from now, if he would have kept progressing. He could. I mean, I know John Cena, at one time, was it last year, was like a dream match for him, or he praised him, if I remember correctly, something like that.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, someone like this, we see the potential and, the issues like this, comes out like that. So I don't know. I wonder if anyone else would hire him, or is he damaged goods right now? Everyone's going to try to back off.
I mean, like I told you off camera.
Yeah.
I think he may get an Enzo treatment where if someone's just desperate for a name, they'll hire him. But I doubt he goes to an Impact or an AEW or works New Japan, either here for New Japan Strong or in Japan. I mean, ROH almost did hire Enzo, but I don't think they would. I think at this point, I don't think they would touch him either. Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Ring of Honor.
I think it's going to end up being some lower promotion like a SWE Fury out of Texas, or
he's from Maryland, right? So maybe his home promotion out there, something like that, where he got started. Yeah. But it's for me, it's just interesting because you see like Tessa Blanchard, she has not signed anywhere, and all the drama surrounding her last year, and so it makes you wonder, someone that's an example of someone who's, I won't say like blackballed, but like, promotions passing up on someone. So I wonder if Velveteen Dream eventually might get that same treatment like a Tessa Blanchard.
Well, it's interesting that a lot last year and even in 2021, Tessa's posting pictures, and both of these people, Tessa with Sasha Banks, training together. Sasha went to Mexico during the pandemic to train with Tessa, and the pictures are on social media. It's not like WWE asking Sasha to take them down. She keeps them on her social media.
Interesting.
So when you say blackballed, if she was quote unquote completely blackballed, I would see WWE maybe having a problem with Sasha posting stuff. But they've been fine with it. Like just last week, Sasha was at the Hybrid School of Wrestling in San Antonio with her.
Interesting. All right. Well, maybe Sasha could be the gateway to try to get Tessa signed at some point. But yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting to see where these people fall. It's luckily for the ones who don't have so much drama surrounding them, things are starting to open back up, and some indie promotions are starting to put on shows again. So hopefully these people find work pretty soon over the next month and, summertime. So I wish a lot of them the best. And, hopefully, it sucks getting released from a job. Right. And I'm sure a lot of them, it's really sad right now. So yes, I wish, nothing but the best. So yeah, we'll wait and see. But
it's like when you look at all the ones released, I don't have a doubt someone's going to pick up Alexander Wolf. I think he'll get picked up somewhere, whether that's just for a couple shots or signed, he'll go somewhere. Honestly, I think AEW should bring in Ezra Judge and give him like a dark match or two, like AEW Dark or Dark Elevation, see what they can do with him. Because if he is ring ready, put him on Dark. If he needs time, they've got technically 2 schools at AEW that can train him. Dustin's got his school in Texas, and Cody and QT have their school.
Yeah. Oh, and then maybe he could join QT Marshall's group. He's like
maybe so. Out of everybody that's been released, and the Vanessa Bourne, she's training with Tessa, so she apparently still wants to stay in wrestling.
Okay.
Like those 3, I can maybe see going somewhere, doing something. At least getting like a look from somewhere.
Yeah, no, like I said, we really cool. And like I said, I mean, it's exciting. Hopefully by summertime, we'll see a lot more indie shows, people booked, and, see what happens from that. I know, GSW up in, up north, God, is it New York or Jersey? Alex Hammerstone's the current champion. One of the guys from the Forgotten Sons, made an appearance there last night. I just saw online. Oh my God, Deonna Purrazza's boyfriend.
I know it's WWE and Steve McCallum he's going by now.
Yeah. That's
Steve Cutler.
Steve Cutler. So he was. So it's cool. He's getting booked already. I know he's been doing some social media stuff. So and then Mojo Rawley, I think, tweeted today like he has like 10 days to go or something like that till he can do something. So this summer's going to be interesting seeing where a lot of these releases.
10 days, really?
I think so. Yeah, that's what I
think they got them.
See, that's what I thought too. Wouldn't it be July?
They got like 2 months.
Yeah, let me see.
Month and a half ish.
Mojo.
Maybe it's July 15th.
Let's see. Did he? Yeah, okay. So yesterday he tweeted out 10 days until you get me, the real me, the version of me I've been so ready to share with all y'all for a decade. Start the countdown. So I don't know if he had a different timetable of his release. So I don't know, just something to keep an eye out on.
It could be a match. It could be podcast coming or a podcast interview or something.
Yeah, that might be it.
A bunch of different things it can be. So I don't know. But I would assume everyone that was released on April 15th, they have to wait till July 15th, which is why the Impact pay-per-view is July 17th.
Slammiversary is going to be awesome. Right? Slammiversary in the last couple of years now has turned into like the hot spot to watch and see which releases are going to show up there.
They teased Daniel Bryan this week. They had a graphic on the screen that just said yes in the same font.
Oh my God. He would not go to Impact. He would not.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what that guy's going to do. That guy went radio silent for everybody. Like nobody's been able to contact him.
That's great on his part. He knows the whole world is waiting. Like he has everyone at the palm of his hand right now. That's great. But speaking of like returns, as we teased a little bit earlier, so Zelina Vega was last week making the news around all the various websites and stuff that apparently she's been seen at the Performance Center again. And Tim, I know you touched on this. As far as she, the rumor is she was supposedly like been at the Performance Center working out. She was been actually maybe re-signed pre-WrestleMania, even maybe it was at March supposedly. Do you kind of know more about like what
all I know is the initial report from Fightful where they said just randomly all of a sudden they go, hey, Zelina Vega was at the PC this morning and cameras were on her filming. And then they released an update to that later in the day saying that she was filming and was seen with The Rock's daughter, Simone Johnson, but they don't know if the stuff with Simone is tied into a return for Zelina, with Zelina's return or not, because apparently this has been something, I don't know if she's officially signed back with the company or not, but they've been talking about bringing her back for about a month or so. And so I would assume you just put her right back on the main roster because she's main roster ready. But the question is like, was she just, because her and Simone Johnson got really close when she did the Fighting With My Family stuff. Because Simone was on set for that.
That's right.
And The Rock really took a liking to Thea Trinidad, Zelina Vega.
Yes.
And her, like I said, her and Simone got really close during all that. And The Rock kind of helped her get in with WWE. And I bet that filming this movie at Raw didn't hurt either when they saw how well she did.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about the movie. She was playing one of the Bellas in that one.
Well, no, she played AJ Lee.
Or AJ, I'm sorry. Yeah, AJ, not sorry. Yeah. What am I talking about? Yeah, AJ Lee against Paige's character in the movie. That's right. That's right.
I don't know if maybe she was just hanging out with Simone or if what she was getting filmed for was also with Simone. Because you would think, okay, if they filmed something with her and Simone, NXT maybe? Because I don't see Simone being main roster ready.
No, because didn't she just have like double knee surgery a while back? Yeah,
like her third knee surgery recently.
Ouch.
And I would put her back to the main roster. What on the main roster? I don't know. Maybe find someone that needs a manager. I doubt she would work with her husband, Aleister Black. Like she wouldn't work with him, but I think his new character. Well, actually, I got it. He's doing this whole darkness thing. Yeah, and he's saying he keeps referencing it or them. Yeah. Maybe she can come back as, I don't know, they do a Game of Thrones thing. I don't know. Maybe she's is Queen of Dragons or something.
Yeah.
He keep referencing dragons.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, because, I mean, one, I'm glad to see she's back. I think she's very talented. I think she's, in ring, she was starting a little bit more of that before she left WWE. But, she's a great manager. We know that with Andrade.
She's a great talker.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, there's a lot of wrestlers right now who are great in the ring and whatnot, but, lack maybe the mic skills. And I think she can be paired with a lot of people.
Exactly.
You see, like, Bobby Lashley has MVP. Roman has Paul Heyman.
Screw it. Bring her back with Angel Garza.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I feel like managers is such a lost art in WWE specifically. Like, I grew up loving Bobby the Brain Heenan and was it Freddie Blassie and even Paul Heyman when WCW with his whole alliance, the Dangerous Alliance, and ECW, Rob Van Dam with his manager. A good manager is very fun and it can add a whole new layer to storytelling. And so if she could come back, I think that'd be great. It's just interesting though, because she left, kind of on bad terms as far as she didn't want to give up her third party rights with Twitch. And,
that was the weird thing, because it was like, it wasn't even the Twitch thing, because she ended up giving control of the Twitch to her brother.
Yes.
But then she had an OnlyFans, and that's what tipped WWE over there, because I don't know how much she was posting on the OnlyFans.
It was like cosplay stuff.
Yeah, but basically WWE was like, you knew that after this date you couldn't have any of that, and she opened the OnlyFans after they said you've got 30 days to cut everything. So she had given the Twitch to her brother. That was not an issue.
Okay,
but it was the OnlyFans that they didn't know what she was going to do with, and they told her you can't have these other things.
Yeah.
Art's a new thing after that initiative went out by WWE.
Well, and another thing too with her is, there were talks of, she wanted to maybe unionize WWE, or she was in touch with the union people, and then oh my God, I'm blanking on the politician who ran for president, who
Andrew Yang or Zhang.
He expressed interest to contact her. So it seemed like she was getting a lot of momentum. Like, oh my God, like she might be able to do what Jesse Ventura wasn't able to do back in the day. But then over the next couple months, it just all kind of went quiet. And then
here's the weird thing about it.
Yeah.
So we hear the news. What was it, a week and a half ago or so?
Yeah. That
she coming back to WWE. Well, I looked at her Twitch. She hadn't streamed on Twitch for almost 2 months before that. Mm-hmm. So it was like, has this been in the works for that long? And she's going to play nice?
Exactly. No, that's the thing too. I noticed that too. She's been really kind of silent on that. And so, and that was something a lot of people were kind of fighting for. So it makes you wonder, maybe she thought she could make, I don't know, I'm just speculating. Maybe she thought she could make more money doing these other third party stuff, and maybe it kind of dried out and she's like, crap, well, I had, guaranteed money with WWE. Maybe I got to go back to that. Or maybe she just feels more happy being there because then she can be around her husband more. I don't know. Aleister Black. I mean, there's a lot you could speculate on this, but it's just very interesting. And listen, everyone's like, oh my God, how can she go back? And listen, people have been released and come back to WWE. Like, this is not new as far as someone being let go and coming back within less than a year. But nonetheless, it's just very interesting for her that she kind of put up a fight like a lot of people. And then maybe she thought more people were going to support her and speak up from the WWE roster, and they didn't. So I just wonder, is maybe she's like, well, crap, I didn't get the momentum I thought I was going to get. And, I gotta make a living. And maybe they felt like, okay, we'll bring you back. So
it's also interesting. I'm looking right now. Her Twitter has been cleared out for everything before May 17th, except for one tweet back in August 2020 about a Twitch stream.
Interesting. God.
Other than that, her Twitter, I keep saying Twitch for some reason, Twitter has been cleared of everything before May 17th.
Interesting. Man, she's well, like I said, I'm glad to see her back, but it's just funny. It's just like, once again, Vince McMahon wins. Like, he probably he's like laughing, like, haha, you thought you could make it on your own, but you come crawling back to me. But, but nonetheless, like I said, I'm a big fan of hers, and I do think her talents can be very much used to the fullest in helping other people in their roles there. So we'll see what happens next. Of course, we'll discuss it when we find out more. Next up, one thing I want to touch on, something I want to give you credit for, because I saw you first post about this, was multiple things. One, the WWE pay-per-view schedule throughout the summer, and also the reports of WWE going back on the road. The both are tied together. So please, Tim, I'll let you take it away and explain everything.
I don't want to take the credit for going back on the road. That was Andrew Zarian, the Matt Man podcast. He first put out July 16th, SmackDown Friday, WWE going on the road.
Okay.
What I was given and first reported was that WWE was shaking up the schedule for pay-per-views. So originally it was reported by PW Insider that July 18th internally is Extreme Rules.
Okay.
Which made sense. Extreme Rules is usually June, July. Mm-hmm. But then I got a message Saturday morning saying, hey, I was just told, and I'm pretty confident in this, they're switching up the pay-per-views a little bit, and Money in the Bank is taking the July pay-per-view because WWE thinks that would be a better pay-per-view for a live crowd than Extreme Rules. And not a better pay-per-view for the live crowd, but a better pay-per-view for the first live crowd. Mm-hmm. As far as giving them Money in the Bank, 2 Money in the Bank matches, they'll be happy with that show. The crowd's probably going to be hot for those ladder matches and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And so I put that out there. I was a little wrong in the info I was given because I was told that things were shifted. The July pay-per-view would be turning into the June pay-per-view and vice versa. So I initially reported June would be Extreme Rules because that's what we were all under the assumption of. And then WWE announces, oh no, June is Hell in a Cell. And then they quietly announced in a commercial for the network on Peacock, Extreme Rules is October before Survivor Series.
Okay.
But so what we know now is that Money in the Bank, first pay-per-view back outside of WrestleMania with fans in attendance. And WWE did officially announce this week they're going on the road, July 16th, SmackDown. I believe that's Toyota Center in Houston.
Yes.
Then 2 days later, they will be in Fort Worth at the Dickies Arena for Money in the Bank.
Yeah, exactly.
And then American Airlines Center Monday, July 18th.
July 19th. Yeah.
19th. For Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
In Dallas, they've announced that they're going to have a 25-stop tour. They haven't announced any locations past that first initial weekend.
Yeah.
So that's all we know right now. And we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, it's exciting to hear. I mean, I know you also reported that there was also some rumors that Fox was kind of pressuring WWE to get back fans.
That was put out by WrestleVotes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So, listen, I get it because, part of was like their investment with MLB and stuff. They want a better show, I guess, as far as with WWE, with SmackDown.
So what fans. That was is basically they go, hey, other sports got fans. Why don't you guys have fans yet?
Yeah, exactly.
Get on the same level. I mean, what is it? Fox has baseball, football, NASCAR. They got all these different sports, and they're all running with fans. Mm-hmm. Like, why isn't WWE yet? You ran WrestleMania with fans. Why'd you put a whole
stop? Yeah,
go from WrestleMania forward.
Yeah.
Which, from what I was told, is yes, Fox has internally said, hey, what's the holdup? And they're just saying, nope, everything's set for July. We're going to wait till July and we'll go from there because that's what we have in place.
Yeah, July's going to be banging between them and then AEW with their stuff. MLW is going to be doing a show in Philadelphia. So July is supposed to be like the big opening up of wrestling shows with fans.
If they want, they can come to California because the Dodgers announced they're running full capacity starting July 15th. In LA.
What? Oh my God. Yeah. Well, for anyone listening right now, Tim and I are both in California, and the rumor is, July 15th, June 15th, the state is going to open back up.
Right.
Allegedly. Is it June 15th? I think that's what Governor Newsom, I think, is he's going to have like a press conference, I think, on June 15th. And the rumor is he's going to try to open it.
So I was wrong. It's June 15th, and is the day they're going to do that press conference thing about opening up, and the Dodgers want to start running full stadiums June 15th.
Oh my God, dude, that's crazy. We'll see what happens, man. I know, here where I'm at, I think the A's don't have that many restrictions. I know the Giants, you have to show either a negative COVID test or a vaccine card to get into the game. I'm not sure what the latest is on that. I mean, that's ever changing. Gotcha. It seems like every couple of weeks.
As soon as they say for Oracle Park, as soon as they say they're open, they're going to do well because they're like the number one team in MLB right now.
I know, dude. It's amazing how well the Giants are doing right now. It's awesome.
I mean, they lost the last 2 nights, I think. I know they lost Friday to the Dodgers. I don't remember yesterday's score, but
Yeah.
I mean, they still got the best record in the MLB. So and Giants fans are committed. So once they say anybody can come and we're open 100%, they're not going to have any issues.
I'm excited for this. So, I just your thoughts on Hell in a Cell moving to June, though. I mean, my initial reaction was they probably figure, okay, Hell in a Cell, that's the last pay-per-view in the Thunderdome. Let's be honest. The way the cage is structured, visually, it's a little tough for fans to watch it in person. So maybe they figure, okay, this is the last show in the Thunderdome. They can just focus on having good cameras inside. And then, does that make sense as far as... Yeah, it's like, okay, we'll do Hell in a Cell inside the Thunderdome because it doesn't really matter if having a crowd there because it's more about what's inside the cage.
I can't see inside that cell anyways.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I saw Hell in a Cell, in Sacramento, 2019, where it was The Fiend and Seth Rollins, that match. I mean, because they painted all red. It's very tough to watch on top of the dark red lights that The Fiend was using. Dude, I was sitting there, I couldn't see what was going on. So, it makes sense for Thunderdome to have the visual crowd there, but I don't know.
That's the other thing. Speaking of Thunderdome, so WWE announced 25 stops. They're going to go from July 16th to, I always get these mixed up. I think it's Labor Day, June 6th, and September 6th.
Yeah. Okay.
Do they go back to a Thunderdome setting after that, or do they remain on the road? Because they only said 25 stops.
Interesting. Maybe just test the water.
That's what I'm thinking. Because again, it's July 16th, Friday, to Monday, September 6th. So that runs through SummerSlam, because SummerSlam's supposedly August 22nd.
Okay.
So then that would give them a couple more weeks, maybe one extra weekend after that of shows before they, I don't know, go back to a Thunderdome setting with virtual fans. Go to a Thunderdome setting with local fans like AEW's been doing, just bringing in the locals, or do they stay on the road?
I wonder.
Go for it.
No, I'm just thinking like if it's a test run because, like for example,
I'm thinking.
Disneyland, Disneyland opened back up for the month of May and June only. Like that's where you have to get the reservations, but I don't know if they've opened up reservations.
No, they're open. Because I went to Universal Studios 2 weeks ago. They're the same. They're open, but you have to reserve your spot to be in the park, and once they say we hit capacity, no one can come in and you can't buy a ticket day of. You have to buy it in advance.
Okay, so can you buy in July and August? Like, is that possible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so both Disneyland and Universal, Six Flags Magic Mountain, Legoland, all those in California have opened back up with, you have to go online, pre-purchase your ticket ahead of time. They're not going to allow anybody to show up and say, hey, I want to buy a ticket for today. You have to reserve your spot so that way they know how many people are going to be in the park ahead of time.
Interesting. Okay, I gotta look into that. I have a Disneyland ticket just waiting to be used still. I haven't used it.
Nice. Yeah, because we went to Universal Studios 2 weeks ago, I think it was.
Yeah, how was that?
Pretty good. It's like having to wear a mask all day, especially wearing glasses and it fogging up the whole time.
Dude, preaching to the choir right now.
Other than that, it was fun. I mean, it can usually have like 21,000 people in the park at one time, and it was like 5,500 or something, or 5,200. Lines were still interestingly long.
Okay.
For some stuff, but it wasn't bad.
So Back to the Future ride, is that still there?
No, they don't have that anymore.
Oh, man, that's my favorite movie. Oh, I'm like, okay.
That's the first time I've been, so it was all new to me.
Okay, gotcha. Right on. Well, maybe we'll do a separate podcast just talking about theme parks. But
trust me, I've been to Disneyland more times than I can count. I used to have annual passes.
Oh, dude, I've been thinking about doing that for so long. Okay, we'll talk off to here how to plan this. But no, for this, I'm excited. Obviously, it looks like they're going to focus on states that the restrictions a little less less rules there.
Yeah, so, Texas is a good idea for the first weekend. Yeah,
and get out of Florida, and then I'm sure they'll focus on states that have, like I said, less restrictions going on. Yep. I mean, of course, I would love to see them come back to California, but we'll take it easy. I know. Okay, so Hell in a Cell will be in the Thunderdome June 20th, July 16th, SmackDown, and then July 18th, Money in the Bank. Early, I'm excited to see that. That's a great pay-per-view, as you said, to be in front of the fans, because you got the ladder matches, the crowd will be hot, trying to root on someone to pull down the briefcase. And I wonder, I'm just putting it out there early, do you think we'll have a cash-in that same night just to really amp up the crowd reaction?
I mean, I wouldn't put it against them just to get the best reaction possible.
Was it Dean Ambrose? He cashed in that same night. Was it him that cashed in?
Dean cashed in on the same night. That was the night that all three members of the Shield held the title on the same night.
That's right. And then was it Bailey?
Bailey on Charlotte. Yep.
Yes. Okay. You know, what better way to kind of get, you know, after they kind of fumbled it last year with Otis winning, no pun intended,
Right.
fumbling, winning it, but, you know, he had it and he then became like a believable threat.
Both winners of Money in the Bank didn't get to cash in.
Oh, that's right. Asuka.
Because Asuka won and then was given the women's title.
Yeah.
Otis won and then had to drop the briefcase to Miz.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I wonder who could, like, you know, real quick, early predictions, who you think could win it.
That's tough.
Because, okay, you got two heels technically on Raw and SmackDown. Roman, though, they're keeping him so strong. Like, there's no way. I don't see anyone beating him unless they want to do an angle where he gets surprised and, like, loses and maybe wins it back.
First thing I think is it's got to be somebody from Raw on the men's side, because they're not going to have someone try to cash in on Roman unless they're already thinking failed cash in. Because if someone from SmackDown wins, everyone's going to go, oh, I don't care about this person. They're probably just going to lose to Roman.
Yeah, so
I think you go with a Raw superstar.
Babyface Raw?
Because there is that slight possibility of somebody could successfully cash it in on Bobby Lashley.
That's what I'm thinking too. And like I said, maybe a babyface. I know normally the concept fits better having a heel with the briefcase because there's always that threat of them teasing and like
the teasing of the cash-ins. Yeah.
Chicken-esque their way to getting a victory. But like a babyface, it makes more sense if Lashley, who's a heel, as a champion. I don't know.
You gotta remember, they get a year, so it doesn't have to be a cash in while Bobby's still a champ. It can be Bobby loses the title down the road to somebody else, they cash in on him. So, but I wonder, thinking about, like, I have no clue who it can be, to be honest.
I wonder. Okay, just not to go off on a tangent. Okay, Finn Balor Cross is this week on NXT, and you know, this match you would think would be safe for TakeOver in a few weeks at In Your House, but they're doing it on TV. So I wonder if this is a rush way to move Finn up to the main roster again. I just
thought about that. And Finn, here's the question is, you have Finn lose Karrion Kross again, you bring him to the main roster. Could they try to restart 2016 where Vince goes, I like the guy, I'm going to push him very, very, very strong as far as making him the main champ on Raw. But do they still have the, he might get hurt again right away thing? Because that would be one that would make sense to me, because the way Finn was been used in NXT, he can go either way. He's been the ultimate, what they call, tweener. He sometimes runs as a babyface. Depending on his opponent, he sometimes plays as the heel. But he would be one to where put the briefcase on him, and no matter who's the champion, it wouldn't be a heel versus heel or babyface versus babyface. He could play it either way.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I mean, we'll get closer to this. We have plenty of time to discuss that.
But bring Brock Lesnar back and have him climb that ladder
and have the boom box again with the briefcase. I love that. Well, the something they haven't touched on yet. I mean, I would assume if they're gonna have live crowds again, where's NXT fall in all this? I mean, and hopefully maybe we'll get an announcement soon. But I would hope NXT will then maybe have a crowd at some point.
I mean, they've got limited number of fans in the PC right now.
Yeah,
but as far as them doing on the road stuff, last I heard was no plans till early fall. NXT to go back on the road.
Well, you mentioned, SummerSlam supposedly in August. Rumor is, maybe Las Vegas. And I would think it'd be cool to really make it a big weekend. I know lately, TakeOver's been on their own separate weekends. I love it when TakeOvers were on Saturdays, the pay-per-view, Big Four pay-per-view on Sunday. I know recently over the last year, pandemic year, TakeOvers has been kind of more isolated on their own, which is great. It really builds them up as a really strong third brand. But with that being said, though, maybe as a way to go with a bang, big weekend, SummerSlam weekend, have a TakeOver that same weekend. I think it'd be great, if that's possible. So hopefully, we'll get more info. I mean, that's just me fantasy booking in my head.
And that would be a good way to go. You do a Saturday NXT TakeOver in Las Vegas, and then you do the Sunday SummerSlam. But here's the thing with Vegas, and I get Vegas, they're open up. They've opened up. They allow people to do a lot of different things and whatnot right now. But Vegas has never been a strong market as far as ticket sales for WWE.
Interesting.
Because let me look something up really quick.
Well, okay, they got to go big then at the takeover card. They got to give me Walter, bring everyone in, bring all the big guns. Walter versus Finn Balor. We have never got that match. Give us Cross versus, I don't know if maybe, if Kyle O'Reilly will build up as a strong contender yet. I mean, the roster is really good right now. So I think giving it like the strongest card you can for that first show with a full crowd. So,
I mean, going way back, WrestleMania, was it 9 was in Vegas, the Caesars Palace one?
yes, it
get a full crowd. Like a WrestleMania, it was one of the first WrestleManias that they felt was not successful as far as ticket sales. And then
that's right.
One of the first SmackDowns on Fox was in the T-Mobile Arena. They only got 7,000 people there.
That's
and that
right.
Stadium has T-Mobile Arena capacity.
Well, I
they
remember
can run 17,000. They only had 7,000. That was like the second or third SmackDown on Fox.
Yeah, well, I've been some shows before the pandemic where, you know, behind the camera were a lot of empty seats, and they packed everyone on the hard cam side. So I don't know, man. So yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm excited for this, and obviously I hope, you know, with the launch of this, everyone will be safe still, and we can keep this momentum going throughout the rest of the year and just really get back to normal. But of course, you know, please be smart out there at these big
sure.
shows.
The one final thing about Vegas, the leading rumor is football stadium, Allegiant Stadium, where the Raiders play.
Yeah.
They could set that up for 60,000 if they wanted to.
Oh my God.
So could they get the fly-ins? I mean, if they do the double weekend with NXT, I don't see why people wouldn't want to fly in for 2 shows.
Man, I'm kind of tempted for a road trip. I gotta think about that and see how it's going. I've been spending a long time at a wrestling show, and I see a lot of people who went to WrestleMania covered that. You know, it seemed a lot of fun. And then I know a lot of media people are going to Double or Nothing next weekend, so I'm jealous of all them. Yeah, so maybe make up for lost time. Yeah, SummerSlam. So I don't know. That's something we think about.
Let's do it.
Yes, absolutely. Another thing. Well, speaking of AEW, big news this week. It was announced that they're moving to TBS, and also it was announced they're gonna have a second show. So just quick highlights here, and then Tim, would love to get your thoughts on this. So it was announced that Dynamite will move to TBS January 2022. Also, they're going to be adding a new hour-long show called AEW Rampage. That's going to debut on Friday, August 13th at 10 p.m. Eastern, so right after SmackDown, technically for everyone playing at home. And then eventually that show will also move to TBS in 2022 as well. So from what I've been able to gather, it seems like all positives, more money, all that good stuff. As far as because didn't they just, it was a new deal, right, that they renegotiated?
So they renegotiated their current deal.
Gotcha.
They're going to get more money because they're getting the extra show. And apparently, here's the kicker. According to Dave Meltzer, who knows everything going on in AEW because he talks to Tony Khan every week, TNT, Warner Media went to Tony Khan and said, can we make Dynamite a 3-hour show? And Tony Khan said, no. Have you not seen what happened to Monday Night Raw? So he said, if you guys want more wrestling content, we'll give you another show, 1 hour on another night. And so they said, okay. And that's where the stuff for Rampage came to be. Okay. So apparently they wanted Dynamite to become a 3-hour show on Wednesdays.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And Tony Khan immediately was like, no, I will not do that to my product. I'll give you extra content, but it's not going to be. And so that's where that comes in. But the interesting thing is they didn't sign, quote unquote, a new TV deal. They just amended their current one, which still all ends in 2023.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
It's not like they got the new show, moved to TBS, and they've extended the deal. It still all ends in 2023. And the most interesting thing about this is, why is Rampage coming to TNT? Why not put it on TBS out of the gate and say, hey, this is where it's going to be August, September, October, November, so in 5 months.
Give it some
4 or 5 months. Like, we don't know exactly when in 2022 it's going to shift over.
Yeah.
But I would say just throw it on TBS now so people don't have to go, wait, that show's not on TNT anymore? Why? What, huh?
Yeah, so maybe train your audience to start watching on TBS.
Exactly, because it also helps with Dynamite moving over to TBS so people know there's AEW content on TBS.
So when I first heard this, I was, okay, I'm excited for AEW. It sounds like they're going to get more money with this amend deal. I mean, I know it was 8 figures, so over $10 million, if I remember correctly.
I don't know the exact numbers.
Yeah, I don't know exact, but yeah, it's supposedly, I know some outlets are saying anywhere from 10 million to 99 million. Well, yeah, of course, 8 figures. Yeah, duh. So, with that, from a money standpoint, business standpoint, that's nice to hear, because then obviously they could pay the talent, budget, their budgets as far as, for props and the set and just taking care of people, maybe sign more people to better deals, long-term deals. So that way keep the roster intact for a longer period of time. That's great to hear. And all the other stuff, merch and toys, all that good stuff. For me though, I'm a little bummed because it's like I grew up loving watching wrestling on TNT, Monday Nitro, WCW. So now eventually that's going to move away, but they will have like 4, like their versions of Clash of the Champions, right?
Basically 4 pay-per-view caliber shows on TNT.
So that plus 4 regular pay-per-views that we see on Fight or BR Live. So we'll have like 8 big shows a year. Great, stuff to build towards for their matches.
Which I thought that's what they should have done initially. Have 8 pay-per-views, because I think having only 4, sometimes you can see in the middle where AEW goes, well, we got to build to something, but the pay-per-view ain't for another 2 months. So what do we do? Let's fast track this. And then also, I hope with this move to the 4 specials and the 4 pay-per-views, we get away from the random beach break. Yeah, this is a big show, and then it's just another episode of Dynamite or Fight for the Fallen. This is a big show, but what really is this that you're not already doing on Dynamite? So hopefully these 4 pillar shows on TNT can be built as big as a pay-per-view.
That's what, I guess your perspective, what this will lead to. Okay, so they got Revolution, they got Double or Nothing, all in, or all out. Wait, all out. Yeah, okay, confused. All in was the first one. All out, and then Full Gear. Right. So those are the big pay-per-views. And then for as far as like the big other shows, let's see, Fight for the Fallen was a norm that they've been doing. Beach Break, that was like their version of I would say Bash at the Beach, but a Beach Break kinda. What was the other one? Winter's Coming, if you want to count that.
Yeah, maybe they've had a lot of just
blood and guts.
Big episode of Dynamite. Let's put a name on it.
Yeah,
special name on it. They've done a lot of that was kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, so I wonder, will they create a specific name like Clash of the Champions, their version, that just put on 4 times?
That's what Dave Meltzer reported, that Tony Khan wants these to be basically like you're watching an old Clash of Champions type deal from back in the day.
That would be awesome. I love that.
I don't know about that, because if you really look at it, back in the day, once they introduced like Nitro Weekly, Clash of Champions shows started to kind of fade in ratings because everyone goes, well, we see all this on Nitro.
Yeah. Well, my only concern with that is like, okay, if they're on TBS Weekly, then the big shows are on TNT, those 4 big shows. Will people, the average person, I mean, you and I, we know, okay, this is a big show. We got to turn TNT this night. But will the common average person, casual fan, you got to train them to switch back and forth.
That's where the thing comes up. Are these just going to be Wednesday Dynamites that are going to supposedly air on TNT? Or are they going to be big specials that are going to be on a weekend on TNT? That's the big question. Because if they're a Saturday night on TNT, then you can push them just like the pay-per-view and say, hey, don't forget, we got Dynamite tonight, Wednesday, but this Saturday night on TNT is Fight for the Fallen,
That'd be great. Yeah, so that's better.
That's
makes
what
a bigger feel.
I would assume they'd be. Just like, WWE back in the day, Saturday night's main event. They had Raw, but then NBC would air the Saturday night's main event specials on the Saturday night, which also the Clash of Champions thing. Once Raw got too big, people stopped watching those extra specials.
Yeah. Well, so for me, like I'm excited. Okay, but like God, they already have AEW Dark, Elevation, Dynamite, and now Rampage. Like that's a lot. Now Dark and Elevation is more for like a lot of the green talent, the young talent. For the most part, nothing too major happens there. Sometimes there are some storylines built up there that does eventually carry over to Dynamite. With that being said, I'm like, man, they got Dynamite. And listen, I think the honeymoon phase is over. They've been around for 2+ years, 2.5 years. But listen, I do think sometimes Dynamite has some like plot holes or some issues with some of the storylines here. I'm worried, now they add a third hour or I guess, a Friday night show. Are they going to stretch themselves thin with the storylines? Will we see more story issues?
Here's the major issue. So according to Dave Meltzer, because he knows everything AEW, he stated that a lot of these Rampage shows will be pre-taped shows outside of like the weeks of pay-per-views.
Oh, okay.
So they'll have the pay-per-view and then they'll run that Friday night in the same city of the pay-per-view for a live episode of Rampage.
Oh, okay.
But here's the issue.
Like what NXT used to do.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the major issue is we already see with Dynamite tapings, they run to like 2 a.m. because they tape Dynamite, then they tape like 20, 30 matches for Dark and Dark Elevation.
Yep.
Now that they have to add an extra show, are they really going to be able to, if they're on the road taping these shows, are they going to keep fans in there that long to tape Dynamite, Rampage, Dark Elevation? Or do they split it up and do two tapings a week?
Yeah.
That's the big issue is how do they get it all taped?
I'm just, and like, I was almost thinking like, man, would this move to TBS eventually in this third show? Like, are they gonna have to have like a brand split eventually? Like, I'm so trained to WWE, product. Like, I think of a Dynamite roster, a Rampage roster.
I don't think they go that far, but it's like, do they do, okay, Wednesday, we'll tape Dynamite and Dark in a city, and then we'll come back Thursday in the same city to tape Rampage, Dark Elevation or something. And here's the other thing that I think needs to happen in AEW. Are they going to have different sets? I think it looks too, I know it's cohesive and it's easy for them because everything's just set up in Daly's place, but I don't think Rampage should have the same set as Dynamite. I think it needs to make it seem like it's actually an important show. It needs to have something that differentiates itself from Dynamite.
Exactly. I'm with you. Make it
needs
feel
to have
separate.
A different look.
Their own version of a SmackDown fist or something.
One entrance stage or one entrance hole deal.
For me growing up when SmackDown first launched, there were, storylines that continued on Raw and SmackDown. So something happened on Raw, continue on SmackDown, continue again on Raw. So I would imagine maybe that the plus side of this with Rampage is, okay, stuff that happens on Dynamite, it gives them some extra room to really expand on these stories.
Exactly.
So that's the positive of it. I'm trying to be optimistic.
The problem is the time it's on.
Yeah.
10 o'clock Friday nights. If you look at the demographic for AEW, their main demo, most of their people are out partying on Friday nights. Because they got the younger audience.
A lot of DVR is probably going to be set.
Yeah, that's going to be a DVR heavy show. Because, again, maybe a lot of people go, SmackDown's over. Ooh, I want to still watch wrestling. Let's move over TBS.
So it's a 3-hour night, Friday night.
Here's the thing. There's been a rumor for a while that AEW would get a Friday night show. Also been a rumor for a while that WWE could add a third hour of SmackDown on FS1.
Oh my God! Dude, Vince is probably planning it right now. The counter program.
This time last year, I could see it happening. Now, maybe not as much, because the rumor was heavy a year ago that Fox wanted more content. So why not give them a third hour on FS1?
205 Live wasn't cutting it for them on the network.
That's something like, well, what would an extra hour of SmackDown be? Would it just be an extra hour and tell everybody, hey, we're done here on Fox, but go to FS1 now? How many people are really going to go over?
Yeah.
And SmackDown on FS1 hasn't done that great.
Exactly.
They've done like 890,000.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I want to be optimistic for AEW. For most people, they're all optimistic or positive thoughts about this. For me, though, I'm just worried, are they going to stretch themselves thin? And the issues that they have with storytelling, it's going to become worse because, okay, now we got to plan an extra hour. This is like our second biggest show in the week now.
I think Tony Khan should focus, my opinion, focus on Dynamite, focus on Rampage, let somebody else. You say, here's what we need. The rankings are still a thing. They use Dark to sometimes elevate guys up in the rankings with a bunch of wins. So he can go to Dean Malenko or Jerry Lynn and say, you're in charge of Dark and Dark Elevation. I need these guys to get pushed over the next couple of months, but you can be in charge of how they're pushed, how they're booked, how the show is laid out.
You just reminded me. So, hey, there are rumors that there are some fighting amongst the EVPs over in AEW.
Well, don't get me started on that.
So maybe Cody gets Rampage for himself and Young Bucks and Kenny get Dynamite. So it already seems like two different worlds.
Mr. Big Ego Cody. That's what I've been told.
Dude, I'm just saying Rampage could be the Cody show, and that's his baby, and the Nightmare students and all that stuff. And then,
well, I think if they want Rampage to feel as important as Dynamite, keep those shows together. Yeah. Same person booking those shows, cohesive, everything, and then give somebody else Dark and Elevation. Tony Khan can say, "Here's what we need," but I'm not going to stretch myself so thin trying to book 4 shows.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the big thing a lot of people were joking about, it's like, okay, the TNT title, does it become the TBS title?
Apparently they're going to keep it as the TNT title.
Yeah, I think I would better just call it the television title for me as an old school fan.
Should have.
But TNT.
The other thing where you're saying, the TNT TBS.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been saying, oh, they got moved off of TNT because they're not important. Yes and no. So next year, TNT is also getting hockey. And the move is not just because hockey and basketball are more important than AEW. It's that AEW already in the next 2 months is going to be preempted a lot on Wednesdays for the NBA playoffs. Mm-hmm. And when you go into next year or even later this year for hockey, they're going to get preempted again even more for hockey playoffs.
And then, I was just thinking, out loud, like, okay, no, TNT and TBS, I think TBS
only has baseball.
Yeah, they have baseball, college basketball, March Madness.
Yeah.
So, some of that. I mean, like the first couple weekends.
TNT too. That's on TNT too. But that's not a big issue. They can work around that and just do like a late night Wednesday Dynamite to get the big lead in from the basketball game there, the college basketball game.
Well, and then last thing, I mean, we were also talking about off the air. It's like TBS slightly has a little bit larger viewing audience,
800,000 more homes,
and TBS. So it's
and honestly, they do better ratings for the lead in. Like they do, episodes of I don't know exactly what's on TBS anymore, but they have a lot of rerun shows, Seinfeld, yeah. And so that actually does better than the random movies that TNT will air before AEW. So ratings could go up with TBS because it's in almost 1 million more homes, 818,000.
Yeah.
And the shows that would come on before AEW on TBS do better ratings.
And plus, I was laughing what you tweeted out not too long ago, how the Ben Affleck movie, The Accountant.
Oh yeah, no, they play that so much on TNT. The Accountant. I've seen the last 10 to 15 minutes of that movie more times than I can count. I don't know what the hell's happening. Anna Kendrick opening up this painting and going, "Oh my god, like what? I don't know. Maybe I need to watch the whole movie."
So, and then so yeah, but it's funny because like some people are like really saying like, oh, TV has so many more viewers than TNT, and I was like, I don't think it's that much of a difference. And to me, I'm kind of shocked because I think most cable plans, TBS and TNT, I think are just standard channels along with USA. And
I mean, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
I looked it up and I saw it was 818,000 more homes for TBS. I go, how is that possible?
Yeah.
Every cable package I looked into when I moved into my apartment, they all had TNT and TBS. So
they're
I don't
one
know.
and the same. Yeah. So, but no, like I said, I'm excited. And like I said, as much as I'm sad to see wrestling leave TNT on a full-time basis, I did also grow up watching WCW on TBS on Saturday, 6:05. Right. So this is also kind of cool going from TNT, which, had Nitro, to back to TBS, which had WCW back in the day. So, for me, from a branding standpoint, that's still very cool. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be exciting to see how this goes. I mean, excited for AEW for their longevity and like everything else we talked about. So I'm excited for this. Two more things I want to touch on real quick. We'll just power through these two. Will Ospreay, unfortunately, was injured. He's the current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. It was a neck injury, am I right, Tim? As far as what happened there?
They say neck injury. I never heard he had a neck injury. I heard he had a shoulder injury that was pretty serious.
Okay.
I never heard neck injury. Other people said the same thing. I didn't hear neck injury. Yet there's a lot of unhappy people in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
And here's the thing. New Japan said that Will Ospreay needs to go back to the UK for rehabilitation.
Yeah.
Why? He literally has a home in Japan.
I was going to say, it doesn't make sense.
He
Why
moved
UK?
to Japan full time. Just like I want to say Juice Robinson did the same thing.
I think so,
and a couple others have recently. like he's got a home in Japan, but apparently there's a lot of unhappy people in Japan. Like the rumor was that a lot of the foreigners were unhappy in Japan, in New Japan, but no, it's a lot of people in that company are unhappy because there's a lot of lack of communication issues, a lot of, hey, we're not going to do this, and then last minute, nope, we need you for this. Like, hey, you can go back home to your country. Oh, wait, never mind, you're ready to get on an airplane. Nope, come back, quarantine, this and that.
Yeah,
and so the most interesting thing was when they said, okay, Will Ospreay's got a neck injury, he's got to vacate the title, he's going to go back to the UK and do his rehab. But then friggin' Rev Pro goes, oh, no, we're just not going to have him defend the title for the first couple of shows we bring back. He'll address the live crowd, but he doesn't need to drop the title. He'll be okay. So it's like, it's more than an injury with New Japan. I think he maybe was unhappy or something. A lot of people are. And again, I never heard neck injury. I think Wrestling Observer put shoulder. They never heard neck injury. A couple other websites put shoulder. They never heard neck injury. I think Wrestling Inc. may have said the same thing. So,
man, it sucks because he just won a title in April. So I hope
7 days, maybe 46 between less than 50 days. He had the title, I believe.
Man, and then made the whole new design and everything. So,
yeah, he had the title for less than 50 days. Had one of the best matches ever in New Japan with Shingo. So,
I don't know, man. I hopefully, behind the scenes they get everything figured out, and especially this is a crucial time for them, especially with all these other promotions existing. And listen, I know Japan as a country, is having some issues with the pandemic and stuff, and
they gotta figure that out quick if they want the Olympics.
Yeah, and I know the vaccine distribution is not as good as like here in America. We're kicking ass. So, man, I want New Japan to do well because like all these other promotion things are going to start opening up, and I want them to have shows on the regular. When things open up here in America, all these promotions are going to be doing more shows again. And with that being said, that might be a way to lure some free agents to these promotions. Some people might be hesitant to go to New Japan if there's issues in Japan as a whole, as a country, and then behind the scenes, if there's drama. A lot of these free agents might be hesitant to go over there. They might just rather stay here in America and, work out deals here. So I want New Japan to do well, because I think when New Japan is at top of their game, they push everyone else, because they really set a standard of just the hard hitting style out there.
I get putting the title on Will Ospreay when they did. They had to get it off Kota Ibushi because he was hurt.
Yeah.
Kota Ibushi had to drop the title to somebody. Whether that would have, it was Will Ospreay. The only other option I had heard was they were contemplating Jay White at the time. I don't know if one would have in the end been better than the other. I don't know if this Will Ospreay going back to the UK has now hurt him with the office and them saying, oh, we can't trust him with the world title anymore. There's so many questions in New Japan. I've heard that there's so much going on in New Japan that people don't want to talk about, that we don't know about. If more stuff comes out, I will not be surprised.
Yeah, well, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, New Japan gets everything figured out, and I need to watch more New Japan. I've always heard just great things. Obviously, New Japan Strong on Friday nights is really good as well, and Moxley, IWGP US champion, all that stuff. So I gotta get on board with that.
Speaking of Moxley, New Japan, and all that, Rocky Romero's debuting for AEW this week on Dark Elevation.
Oh, is he? Well, he was in the crowd.
Yeah.
On Dynamite last week, or this week, I should say.
The U.S. title match.
Yeah.
He's going to face JD Drake on Dark Elevation.
Nice. Okay. Dude, that guy's everywhere. He was MLW, Strong. Yeah. He just pops up everywhere. Good for him. And one last thing I just want to touch on. This actually was the first big news story in the week. And this was coming after WrestleMania Backlash, was The Miz got injured. And that was the big story on Monday. But now it's like so far behind now. But Miz tore his ACL in the match.
That's what we've heard
against Damian Priest.
Yep.
And so what's the timetable?
I don't know as of right now. From the initial reports was Miz was hurt, knee injury. And then later in that day, so that all came out Monday morning. Later in the day, they said they're fearful for an ACL. It will get further evaluated later in the week. And I don't know if maybe all this other news kind of put that on the back burner, or if no one just knows what that further evaluation was.
Yeah.
But if you look at a regular ACL tear, I believe that's 9 to 12 months.
I think so. Because I'm
if it's a partial, I think that's 4 to 6.
Yeah, because Klay Thompson, on the Warriors, Did he have ACL? Let's see. Let me just do a quick little Google search.
Hopefully Miz wouldn't need surgery, because then if he doesn't need surgery, that's good. It's not as major of an injury as one would assume.
Yeah.
So
okay,
we'll see. Because here's the most interesting thing about all of this. Other than the concussion at WrestleMania 27 and the main event with John Cena, Miz has never been actually like hurt that's going to keep him out of action. He's had, I tweaked my arm, or my elbow hurts a little. Like, anybody can happen to. But Miz has never actually had a serious injury.
Yeah, I was going to say, how old is the Miz? He
40?
is, let's see. Yeah, 40. So, God, to his credit, that he's wrestled this long without getting a major injury. I mean, I know people criticize his wrestling style, but it's a safe style. I mean, that's what's last.
2003.
Yeah, so
this is only his technically second major injury, and only the first one that's going to actually keep him out for any length of time.
Yeah, so no, I mean, it's a total bummer for him, but I know he's always been a very good. I know he says it in his promos, but he's always been a very good professional rep for WWE doing the media
He's
stuff.
already doing media. He's already doing media this week. Like, he can't wrestle? Fuck it. Let Miz go do media.
Be the face of it still. So, no, I mean, I wish him a speedy recovery. I mean, he's been on the show a few times over the years. And so, I definitely, maybe this could turn to an angle on Miz and Mrs. now, like him at home, recovering from an injury.
I don't know, because if you watch Miz and Mrs. now, that content's actually 2 years old.
I know, right? Some of that is crazy how much they film it and they
everything from this season when they show him at work, there's still crowds.
Yeah, exactly. So, I wish him a speedy recovery. I know it sucks.
For sure.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes with him. And, the only plus sides is, listen, I think people will get a little burnt out of him on Raw because it was always Miz TV and doing something. For me, they were kind of teasing the idea of Miz and Morrison breaking up. But now that he's automatically just gone, Morrison can get maybe a good singles push now. I think I like his comedic timing. And
you know what they should do? If they would allow it, Morrison, NXT with Frankie Monet.
Ooh, I love
those
that.
two are great together. I mean, they've always been great together.
Yeah, absolutely. Husband and wife. I mean, dude, they would be great. Bring him back down. Let him, go for one of the championships or something. I'm with you. I love John Morrison. I think he's such a great talent, and I definitely would love to see him get a good singles push, especially, since he's returned with the company. He's always been kind of Miz's sidekick. Yeah. So I would love to see him get like a proper singles run.
Let him be a little more serious, like we saw him outside of WWE and towards the back half of his last WWE run.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm with you. I think that'd be great to see what he can do outside. I mean, on his own. I'm all for that. Who knows? Exactly. Maybe Taya Valkyrie, aka Frankie Monet, maybe her time in NXT is a little bit short, and she can get bumped up to Raw right away and be with her husband.
I mean, if anybody down there is ready for main roster, it's her.
Yeah, absolutely. So we shall wait and see. But all right, Tim, listen, I think we covered so much here. I can't thank you enough for making the time. Like I said, so much in the pro wrestling world news-wise to talk about. And of course, like I said, you're my go-to person for all this stuff. So thank you again. Where can the Kliqsters find you online once again? I encourage everyone, especially on Twitter, to follow you because you always post just a lot of great talent, info there.
Yeah, you can follow us, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. We're on twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. We got our website, pwunlimited.co. And as you mentioned, our Twitter @PW Unlimited.
Awesome. And I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook @Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram @Baby Huey83, @In The Kliq for everything else. Subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Social media, inthethe@gmail.com. And we'll be back with more stuff. Next episode, we'll talk, of course, NXT and SmackDown and everything else in the world of pro wrestling. So on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line because Huey said so.